how to do it, okay? So here we go. We're gonna start here.
Oh, that's how I learned it.
This way,
That's how,
Xbox. Okay.
Oh, this is how I learned it.
I just said, what age group did I say? Are y'all over those ages? No,
What age
Yes.
group
no,
did
y'all
you
aren't.
learn?
I just said, 25 and up did not do Xbox. For the most part. So here we go. 4x squared minus 15x minus 4 is our problem, correct? And step 1 of Xbox, you're going to check for GCF. If I look at 4x squared minus 15x minus 4, is there a GCF?
No.
No, so check. Next, you're going to identify your variables. Your A equals 4x squared. Your A term is always the one with your x squared. Your B equals negative 15x. Your B is always the term with your x. And your C equals negative 4. Your C is your constant. Okay? It's your term without a variable. Agree? Exactly. And they can be mixed up. That's why you have to pay attention to what's your A, what's your B, and what's your C. Okay? Yes?
Do we have
All
to
right.
label them every time we give it to them?
No, just making sure that you're very aware of what is what. Okay? All right. Next. I have no clue why I've always said C times A instead of A times C. I can't stop my brain from doing it. Something must have triggered and something must did in my head. But for some reason, it sounds in my head to do C times A versus A times C. Maybe because of air conditioning. I don't know. But I just can't do it the other way. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But C times A. So you're going to look at your C and your A and you multiply them. What is C times A for us? Negative 16x squared. Agreed?
Oh, I just added them. I'm slow. Oh.
No, there's
4x squared times negative 4
oh, yeah.
is negative 16x squared. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your B term? Okay. So what you're asking yourself is what two numbers will multiply to give me negative 16x squared, but add to give me negative 15x. We're doing it. I'm waiting. Negative 16x and 1x. Good job. That's because negative 16 times 1x is what? Negative 16x squared. Negative 16x plus 1x is negative 15x. Do we see that?
Yeah.
Agree. Do we see how those work? All right. Now you're going to go to the box. In the box, you're going to always put your A term first. What is our A term? It's 4x squared. You're going to put your C term last. What is your C term? Negative 4. Okay. Your empty boxes, that comes from your X. Your X marks the spot. So in my X, we got negative 16x and positive 1x.
Wait.
Okay. So let's repeat again. A box, always first term, first box. C, last term, last box. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. X marks the spot. So what goes in our empty spots? What we got from our X. Okay. After everything is filled in, all you're doing is greatest common factor. You're taking the greatest common factor of every row and every column.
Yeah, wait.
Of every row and every column. What is the GCF of 4x squared minus 16x? 4x. What is the GCF of 1x and negative 4? 1. What is the GCF of 4x squared and 1x? What is the GCF of negative 16x and negative 4? That's what that means. You're taking the GCF of every row and every column. The outside is your answer. So my answer is x minus 4 times 4x plus 1. It does not matter which binomial you write first.
David, I really don't think I like this, but it was like.
They both have X on 4 and X and 4 X.
What do you mean?
We factor them.
Is that a one?
We always distribute the x both on both the brackets and then put the variable, the number next to it.
Yeah, that's if you were foiling, but this is your factor.
Like right next
Oh.
to it.
Yeah, that was where we started. We started here.
Miss, last time I remember doing something, and
Okay,
there was like numbers already on the outside of it, and then just have to.
that's
like,
just multiplying.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had, and then you add it all up together. Probably.
Oh, no, I just remember.
All right, here we go. FOIL. So if I wasn't sure about my answer, I would use FOIL to check, right? So with FOIL, I have x minus 4 times 4x plus 1. First times first, 4x squared. Outside times outside, 1x. Inside times inside. And last time last. And do I come back to where I started? Ignore that.
Beautiful, miss.
So is this like the same, is this another way to check trinomial, or is it like a different?
This is how you do trinomials when the a does not equal 1.
Can we go back?
So
Okay.
all our problems yesterday, 8+1.
Well,
Yes.
Do it the other way, just like combining the first step and the first way and second way. DCF and,
If it has the GCF, yes.
This way though.
But this one didn't have a GCF, which is why we couldn't do what we did not do now.
the only way we can do it is to have, yeah.
Okay, all right, I want you to try.
I'm not gonna.
I want you to try. Please stay positive. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this.
Oh, we're doing it?
Yes, you're doing it. So step 1.
Oh, I see what you did, Michelle.
Oh, gotta pay attention. Okay, step 1, check for GCF. Is there a GCF?
Yeah.
Where?
No.
Okay, and then identify your variables. What is your A term, your B term, your C term?
Miss, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna need help with this.
No, it's mine. Let me see. No, that's yours. All right. Step 1. Was there a GCF? No. Good job. Okay. What was my A term? Good job. What was my B? And my C is 5. What is A times C?
30x per 2.
30x squared. And my B is 17x. What multiplies to give me 30x squared and add it? Good job. Okay. Found my magic numbers. Well, those are my first box.
6x per 2.
Perfect. Last box.
5.
And my sides.
15x and 2x.
Does it matter where they go?
No.
It does not. Okay. All right. GCF of what I have here. Row.
2x. 2x.
GCF here.
5.
5. GCF here. Now say it. Good job. And GCF here. All right. So my solution should have been 2x plus and 3x plus 1.
Oh, 3.
It's not bad.
How we do?
I am bad.
Okay.
I did the third part wrong.
Fix it. That's what we're practicing. All right. Okay. So again, Xbox is if you're a visual, right? I am going to show you the way I learn. You don't have to accept it as a way to learn. I'm going to walk you through it. You like it, you don't like it, don't use it. Does that make sense? Yes.
If we did find a GCF, in step 1, we have to do step 2. Is that fine?
Yes. Yes. If you have good question. If you find a GCF in step 1, that automatically goes straight to step 4. So like if there was a GCF, say it was 2, and then I would put a 2 in front. So it would be your GCF and your binomials. Just like the warm-up, exactly.
Oh.
The GCF just, you found it? Okay, cool. Hold on to it. All right. Okay, grouping. So this is the way that Ms. Jones learned.
I don't even like it anymore.
I just brace the first way then, but I'm supposed to show you grouping as well, okay? All right, so here we go with grouping. So with grouping, you're still, step 1 is still the same, which is there a GCF? Factor it out. And then you keep going. So after that, your step 2 is pretty much the same. You're going to multiply your A times your C, and you're going to identify your B. So my A was 8, my B is 5, right? A times 5 is 40, and B is negative 14. Okay. As you get better with numeracy and number sense, you can realize, okay, if I have a positive here and a negative here, both factors have to be negative. Does that make sense? Because that's the only way a negative times a negative is going to make a positive, right? A negative plus a negative makes a negative. So instead of me listing out every single possibility of 40, I only listed out doubles of negatives. Does that make sense? So out of my 4 choices here, which one gives me negative 14? Well, that would be this guy. Do we see it? Negative 4 and 10, negative 10. What this means is that I can replace. Yes. What happened?
If you did negative 4 times negative 10, it would be, oh, you're adding.
Yes. I'm good. So basically, I'm replacing my BX. So my BX is currently negative 14x. I'm going to replace it with negative 4x plus negative 10x because that still equals what? Negative 14. Now you replace. Okay. So this is now what I'm working with. After you replace, you then are going to do what's called grouping. In order to group, you're going to group the first 2 terms together and the last 2 terms together. Notice when I group, I'm adding these 2 together, okay? These are being added together. And it then just comes down to find the GCF of each group. What's the GCF here? Well, the GCF here is 4x. What's the GCF here? The GCF here is negative 5. You factor out the GCF, and when you factor out the GCF, you're left with a common binomial. That common binomial is a factor, and what's left is your other factor. So when it's 4x, 8x squared divided by 4x is 2x. Negative 4x divided by 4x is negative 1.
Got it different way or?
So my common, guys, my common binomial is 2x minus 1. So I factor that out. And when I factor that out, I'm left with, I'm at Zoom. When you take out the 2x minus 1 from each one of these terms, what are you left with? The 4x and the negative 5. And those are your factors. Okay. So this is the old school way of doing it, the grouping. Otherwise, just stick to Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay. It does not matter which one you do. My job is to show you both. I've shown you both. I'm going to go through a full problem using grouping, and you can decide from there. No, they both do the same thing.
Wait, so if you figure out the greatest common factor in the Xbox, you don't have to do the little square.
No, you still will. I'm about to show you. All right, so here I have 6x squared minus 2x minus 20, right? Agree? Step 1 tells me I'm supposed to do what? Check for GCF. Is there a GCF? Yeah, it's 2. There's a 2. So therefore, I factor out 2 from each one of these terms. Do we see it? So we have 2, and I'm left with 3x squared minus x minus 10.
Wait, so is finding the greatest common factor always our first step?
Yes, step 1 is check for GCF.
Wait,
Okay. So now this is my A term, this is my B term, this is my C term. I'm showing you Xbox without the whole picture drawn. Is that cool? All right. So then step 2 is you're finding what multiplies to give you. What multiplies to give you C8. And what is that? And what adds to give you B. And what is your B? Negative x, negative 1x, right? So what multiplies to give me negative 30x squared, but adds to give me negative 1x?
Wait. Yeah.
Kind of 6 and 5.
Negative
There we go. Negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. I was going to do grouping here, but I realized that you guys don't want to see grouping done. So
there was a step in there that I was like, just made up numbers there. And
I'm like, I don't think y'all want to see it. All right. So I did not. I'll show you though. All right. In the last one, we have 30x squared. So if you wonder why your spaces are so small, that's why. I wrote 30. I didn't mean to write that. You have 3. You have negative 10. You have negative 6x. And you have 5x. No. Only thing that matters is A and C. A and C go where they go. My 5, it got a little funky. And my 6? You want to see grouping? I mean, if you're not in a rush, I can do a grouping with you.
I think I will try to learn that one. That one looks faster.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. Yeah, but with the other one, you have to draw a bunch of those.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can do grouping then. Bye.